Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you were all having a great day, as this is the end of consensus. Everyone has decided to drop as much news as possible today as opposed to doing it at the beginning of the conference. So here we go. Bitcoin Core developer Jonathan Corgan has joined Jimmy Song in criticizing the seeming lack of Bitcoin focus at this week's Consensus 2018 conference. In a long series of tweets summarizing the event, which ends May 16th, that is today, Corgan highlighted what he described as a cargo cult engineering taking preference among speakers. He said it's like all the popular kids, the blockchain, are publicly bashing the geeks and nerds, Bitcoin, while privately trying to copy their homework. Educator Jimmy Song has been first to publicly pan some aspects of consensus, saying during a panel with a JP Morgan executive that Bitcoin was the real innovation here. I don't see anything other than buzzwords, he said, adding on Twitter afterwards that his words verbalized what probably a large amount of people in the audience were thinking. Continuing the theme, Corgan produced a lengthy explanation of why Bitcoin was the only successful use of blockchain technology. A blockchain is nothing more than an expensive and slow database, he concluded. So, I made a prediction a while ago, and I don't know how many people believed me or cared to believe me. I said we have so many altcoins in this space. When people are looking to get into cryptocurrencies, there was a time where people were just dumping their money into Bitcoin, and then it was into Ethereum, and then it was into Ripple, and then it was into EOS and this and that. We have so many coins now that Bitcoin has not only kind of lost its luster, but it's too expensive for the average investor to actually get into it. So during this entire consensus thing, if you have noticed all the other news that I've been putting out, almost no news about Bitcoin at all. It's about new projects, new coins, older companies who are bringing out their own coins. And I simply think this is because we are going to reach a period, or this may be the beginning of the period, where if Bitcoin does not do something, and I mean as far as like not even just the price moving by itself, if they don't update it properly, there's so many other coins. You can only have a king sitting on a throne for so long. When your king does not move, when your king is too slow, and you have 1,600 other people who claim to be faster and or have this, and they can do this on their platform, we're going to get to a point where Bitcoin will end up being a lot outdated. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's kind of the situation, and consensus kind of proved it. Especially you'll see as I'm reading through the other news about the other projects that are slowly happening. Even when we had news about Facebook making their own coin, there's going to be a point where Bitcoin is going to have to get it together, because it's not the main focus anymore. Not many people are, when people search for news on cryptocurrencies, they're not searching for Bitcoin. No one's going to spend $8,200 to buy one Bitcoin when they can buy 20 or 30,000 of some other coin that's around 10, 15 cents. It has a possibility of going from 15 cents to $1 a lot easier than Bitcoin has from 8,200 to 82,000. It's just how it kind of is. We know that Bitcoin controls the market, but there was definitely a lack of Bitcoin at this year's consensus. Every single time someone on the panel started talking about Bitcoin, the discussion changed very quickly to Ethereum or any other of the main top coins. Continuing on, Enigma will conduct the first public demonstration of its privacy-oriented blockchain-based protocol at CoinDesk Consensus they did it on Tuesday. Former MIT researcher and Enigma co-founder and CEO Guy Zykind first introduced the technology in 2015, what they are calling secret contracts, seeking to rebuild the foundational layer of Ethereum to address the blockchain's privacy-related shortcomings. The protocol essentially allows nodes to compute using encrypted fragments of these smart contracts without having to decrypt them, which other blockchains cannot do. The protocol, dubbed smart contracts, also facilitates coin mixing, a tactic that obscures the original source of Ether used within the protocol. Likewise, it stands apart from the other privacy-guaranteed mechanisms like ZK Snarks, in which one party can prove its possession of information to another party without revealing the information or interacting with the other party. Enigma's protocol, on the other hand, uses a trusted execution environment in which the cryptography is relied upon for certainty, and neither party has an information on their respective data inputs and outputs. This is, along with smart contracts, any coin that can boast some type of privacy going forward is going to, I don't know. We've gotten to a point where, like I said, governments are calling out privacy coins by name, which is a huge red flag. But then also we have situations like the Winklevoss twins adding Zcash. And for a time, it was believed, at least, that the coins that had the most privacy on them would end up being the biggest one. So it will be interesting to see if, as we are getting news about exactly what Ethereum is in America, if companies start building on top of it to make the transactions private, if this will then end up changing things because the government can no longer track exactly what people are sending back and forth. Icon is in the news. Icon, one of the largest blockchain networks in the world, which aims to hyper-connect private and public institutions, has announced a massive partnership with Line Plus, a global social platform with a monthly average user count of over 200 million. Together, the two companies have co-founded Unchained in an effort to construct Line's blockchain network. Apparently, the goal of Unchained is to develop a variety of decentralized applications, or dApps, while also expanding upon Icon's blockchain ecosystem, according to an official blog post from the South Korean blockchain company. Unchained will create a blockchain ecosystem fueled by a token economy where the users are rewarded for the contributions to the network. dApp services discovered through Icon and Unblock, a subsidiary of Line dedicated to blockchain research and to accelerate dApp projects, will be integrated with Unchained. This joint venture takes blockchain and decentralization another step closer to being a part of our everyday lives. If you have time, 10-15 minutes, make sure to go check on YouTube and type in like South Korea blockchain industry, or like South Korea blockchain or South Korea crypto. There's a lot of videos floating around of exactly how big cryptocurrencies are in South Korea. I think I underestimated it. There are so many companies that are being built in South Korea. They are controlling the market for a reason. It's because a large amount of people never really got into stocks and or bonds or whatever the traditional markets, and they find cryptocurrencies to be the easiest way to kind of make money. And this is pretty much why South Korea is kind of dominating. And I think, especially as we go into the future, this is not going to let up. They're creating a lot of things that are going to change the way that we see cryptocurrencies. Adorable. All right. So, Japan-based global investment bank Nomura has announced a venture to establish a custody offering for digital assets, Cointelegraph Japan has reported. The new project aims at removing barriers to institutional investment in the crypto space. I don't know how many times we've seen this line. This is like the line of the year. For institutional investors, this is all that we're getting in the news because everyone is waiting for this money to drop, and it's not just us. Nomura's joint venture will be conducted in partnership with digital asset security company Ledger and investment house Global Advisors, according to reports. The partners allege that a shortage of robust and legally regulated safekeeping solutions is currently preventing traditional asset managers from building investment vehicles in the crypto ecosystem, emphasizing that overcoming custody and security obstacles is crucial, given that the 1 in 5 financial firms are allegedly considering launching digital asset trading and investment businesses in the coming year. The new digital asset custody venture is dubbed Komainu and will provide infrastructure and an operational framework for institutional investors to integrate their traditional investment vehicles in the frontier crypto industry. Just yesterday, major US crypto wallet provider and exchange service Coinbase announced its own custodial solution to address security and regulatory compliance concerns. Earlier this month, New York Stock Exchange owner ICE revealed its own plans to offer crypto swap contracts that would be listed in Bitcoin, suggesting it too has come up with an SEC compliant custody solution for institutional holders. I think they've forgotten all about us, guys. I don't think we actually even matter anymore in the crypto space. And I don't think I'm joking at all. I think they only care about big money at this point. I'm interested to see exactly how much big money is supposed to be coming into this market, because it's all that's being spoken about right now. But I understand that, it's happening during consensus. I think tickets for consensus were like $2,000. So I don't expect the average Joe to have been sitting in any of the meetings. But this seems to be the entire topic, as everyone is gearing up for this money that somewhere exists in the universe that still has not dumped into our market yet. Enterprise Ethereum Alliance is once again in the news. The Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, or the EEA, has released the Enterprise Ethereum Client Specification 1.0 today that will enable interoperability for companies that use the Ethereum blockchain for base solutions. The EEA, which was formed in March 2017 by Santander, JP Morgan, and a variety of other members, now has over 500 enterprise members. Whenever people talk about, or I talk about Ethereum, and I talk about how I'm pretty sure they're going to make it, when you're backed by Santander and JP Morgan, and they pretty much have joined the consensus with 500 or 498 other members that they plan on using your blockchain and possibly using your coin in the future, this is where I'm getting my mindset from and why I talk about Ethereum. It focuses on improving the privacy, scalability, and security of Ethereum blockchain applications. At the beginning of May, the EEA's Enterprise Ethereum Architectural Stack went live, a software stack which standardizes the specifications for business applications based on Ethereum. The next steps for the EEA will be building a testnet to test proof of concept and a revision of the specifications, ideally by the end of this year, followed by a launch of an EEA certification program. They say without interoperability, the big players aren't going to want to jump in because they don't want to be locked in on one particular vendor for a proprietary solution. This attracts more and more of the bigger players to come in and make a commitment because they feel a little more safe than that they're not going to get stuck. So the EEA has been in the news a lot over the last couple of weeks, and my theory is that because EOS is launching soon, Ethereum and everything associated with it has decided to kind of jump back into the news, because we didn't hear from the EEA for quite a couple of months. So it's good to see that they are back on their feet and they are creating once again. JP Morgan's in the news. JP Morgan co-president Jerry Pinto confirmed the bank was looking into the Bitcoin space on May the 16th, saying cryptocurrency will play a role in the future. Speaking to CNBC over 2 interviews, Pinto, who could be in line to succeed CEO Jamie Dimon, said that JP Morgan is able to trade Bitcoin futures, but has not yet opted to do so. He said, "We are looking into the space. I have no doubt that in one way or another, the technology will play a role. If we need to clear futures of Bitcoin, can we do it? Yes. Have we done it? No." Pinto's neutral stance continues the investment banking giant's somewhat mixed signals about Bitcoin in 2018. Tell me about it. Despite banning customers from purchasing cryptocurrency using its credit cards, senior executives, including the once infamously bearish Dimon, have variously spoken out against the beneficial aspects of both Bitcoin and blockchain technology. I don't know what this bank is planning. I'm not exactly sure why every other day they're constantly in the news talking about what they hate about Bitcoin and how much they love it and what they plan on doing it, especially because they're legally allowed to kind of get into it now. I don't really know what they're waiting for. I wish they would just kind of do it, because the entire JP Morgan crew is kind of out of control. So to continue on, prominent figures on interoperability spoke at a panel discussion at Consensus yesterday. The panel comprised of 4 members, namely Matthew Spoke, who is the founder of Aeon Network, David Schwartz, the chief cryptographer at Ripple, Jutta Steiner, the co-founder of Parity Technologies, and Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin. The panel was titled "The Race for Interoperability." It began with the exploration of whether interoperability could reduce the tribalist behaviors exhibited by investors in cryptocurrency, which I've spoken about so many times. I don't understand why people are so tribal in this space. These are computer codes. I don't get it. The panel members spoke about how they explored interoperability and got started with creating products that could realize their vision of interoperability. Matthews talked about how he founded the Aeon network and how it was aimed at interoperability with the Ethereum virtual machine. According to the website, Aeon is a multi-tier system designed to address unsolved questions of scalability and interoperability in blockchain networks. He's an advocate of decentralized interoperability due to data privacy and ownership concerns and the removal of trust-based centralized power structures. I'm not going to read through the entire thing because this is quite a long article. This was actually live yesterday as well, the discussion that they had. It may have probably one of the most awkward things I think I've ever watched in a long time. One of the people who was on the panel was the creator of Litecoin, Charlie Lee. He sat all the way to the left, if I am not mistaken. This guy spoke about 95% of the time. Whenever the guy from Ripple started speaking, people clapped. Whenever Utah started talking a bit, there was like a bit of like a little golf clap in the background. Whenever Charlie Lee spoke, no one moved after. It was incredibly awkward. This guy took up all the spotlight. No one clapped when he said anything. And it was kind of, they were sitting there talking about their coins, pretty much it came down to them smiling in each other's faces as they gently smacked each other because they were all trying to promote their coin and their networks, talking about exactly how much better theirs was than the other people. So you had a couple of people in the audience who were, clapping and really excited when their coin got to have a go. And I felt really bad for Charlie Lee. He also looked a little like slumped in his chair. I don't know exactly what the problem was. Maybe he was tired, maybe had a cold. But it was very awkward to watch that people weren't really clapping for Charlie Lee. Or, I don't know. I guess the entire thing is kind of, I don't know. Litecoin's been having it rough the last couple of months, if you will. One of the last things that has been announced, I'm so out of breath. HTC is in the news. Taiwanese consumer electronics HTC Corporation has announced its plans for the world's first ever native blockchain smartphone dedicated to providing consumers with high-end experiences while running decentralized applications, or dApps. It actually gets kind of cool as I go along. Called the HTC Exodus, the smartphone is slated to include a built-in secure hardware enclave and is aimed at helping underlying protocols expand their base of dedicated nodes, thus expanding the total blockchain ecosystem. They said, I want to see a world where the end consumer can truly own their data, their browsing data, identity, assets, wallets, emails, messaging, etc., without the need for central authorities. There is a lot of work ahead of us, but I believe the mobile hardware layer can contribute significantly to our decentralized world. The HTC Exodus will support underlying protocols, including Bitcoin, Lightning Networks, Ethereum, Dfinity, and others. According to Chen, the team is working to support the entire blockchain ecosystem and will therefore be announcing a whole slew of new partnerships in the coming months, which is also very cool. Together, we want to craft the best blockchain and decentralized application experiences to end customers. Of course, the phone will come with a built-in cryptocurrency wallet. Also interesting. More interestingly, each Exodus smartphone will purportedly act as a node for the Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains. If successful, every phone would essentially expand the scope of both leading cryptocurrencies. This was the coolest thing I think I've heard. I hope that more phone developers, makers, get into this, or at least someone else develop an app that allows other people to do this. How cool would it be if your phone was literally a node on the Ethereum or the Bitcoin network and you helped to expand the network, allowing or disallowing the future of any 51% attack from taking place because you are a protector of the network? Think about how freaking cool it is. Sorry. It's actually really cool to think that this is actually happening. There's no exact word on when this will be coming out. Realistically, if it's less than like $4.99, I might pick one up. A lot of smartphones have been getting kind of expensive. There's one that's like $1,200 right now, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, this is about the end of the news. Consensus is still not over, so if anything else crazy ends up happening, I'll definitely bring you guys the news, but you can kind of tell the it's just been, this is what I was saying at the beginning of the video. The entire thing about Bitcoin not being at consensus was kind of a true statement. Bitcoin can only get so big. We've seen its dominance slowly falling over the last couple of months, if you will. And yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. We'll see exactly what happens. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you once again for all the support. I hope you're all having a great, wonderful, amazing, fantastical day. I'm exhausted and I will talk to you all soon. See you.